Hi, Dave Chesser from Formosa Fitness. I've got a little fitness tip for you today. One of the problems that we see is sometimes people are working at cross purposes with their diet program and their exercise program when their goal is fat loss. For example, some people like to work in the fat burning zone, which means that they're going to keep their heart rate fairly low, usually to the point where they can even hold a conversation while they're exercising. The majority of these people are using treadmills, bicycles, elliptical trainers, things like this, and they're usually going for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. So this kind of exercise keeps them in the so-called fat burning zone. To be honest with you, I'll just give you my opinion. I think the fat burning zone for most people isn't a very good idea. I think it tends to be a waste of time. The one exception for that would be people whose doctor says they simply can't do anything else. If something else is really contraindicated and working in the fat burning zone is all that they can do, then I think that's fine. But for everyone else, you should probably be working a little bit harder than that. But the thing is, a lot of people who are working in the fat burning zone, what happens is they tend to be on a high carbohydrate diet. And this works at cross purposes with their exercise plans. So if they're primarily working in the fat burning zone, they're primarily burning fat. But the problem is, while that may sound good, they tend to be overeating carbohydrate, which means they're getting a lot of energy in their diet. The problem with the fat burning zone is you're really not burning that many calories. But when you're eating a lot of calories via carbohydrate, then you're canceling out what you've done in your exercise program. So if you're exercising for fat loss and you're supposedly eating for fat loss, both of those have to be congruent in order for you to get results. What we normally recommend for people like that is that they start cutting down on carbohydrates and eventually switch to either a lower carbohydrate diet or a low carbohydrate diet. Now that's a tough choice for a lot of people. Bread, rice, pasta, sugar of all types, I know that's very seductive for a lot of people. Bread in particular tends to be kryptonite to women. It can destroy any program. One trip to the bakery can ruin a whole day's progress. But if you switch to that lower carbohydrate diet, you'll likely see better results. Then the second group would be my people, the people that I like to train, what we tend to do more here at Formosa Fitness, and that's high intensity training. It doesn't matter whether you're doing HIIT, Tabata protocols, or you're just simply working at a sustained 75 to 90% pace. You're doing weightlifting, you're doing CrossFit, you're doing anything that's really going to be burning, significant calories. That's high intensity training. Those are the people we tend to work with more. The problem with that is that this tends to be in the glycolytic zone, which means that you're burning sugar, you're burning carbohydrates. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But the majority of the time, these kind of high intensity people, they tend to like to follow a paleo diet. And the problem with the paleo diet is that it's extremely low in carbohydrate. If you're working in a carbohydrate burning zone, but you're not giving your body any carbohydrates, then it's like trying to step on the accelerator when there's no gas in the tank. It doesn't tend to go very far very fast. So what I tend to recommend for people like this is that you use your pre- and post-workout nutrition to get a few more carbs in your diet in and around your workout session. It allows you to go faster, allows you to go harder, allows you to burn more calories, and then after your post-workout nutrition, then you just go right back to eating your meat and your vegetables and things like that, and this tends to work very well. Now, let's talk a little bit about a ketogenic diet, because I know a lot of people like to do ketogenic diets. Paleo obviously being the main example, so the idea is that you can just stay on these forever. Well, yes and no. If you're looking at really hardcore athletic training, staying on a ketogenic diet for a long time is a really bad idea. If you want to do 2 or 3 weeks, that's fine. Everyone can probably do that. You want to do this as a cycle. If you're going to stay on this long term, you're just going to be like shooting holes in the bottom of your boat. Athletes need carbohydrate. You've got to learn how to use carbohydrate effectively. If you can do that, carbohydrates aren't a problem. But we don't find that people who train high intensity long term, what happens is that the workouts just grind them down. You're burning carbohydrates, but you don't have any in your body. It just leads to failure and sort of a blah feeling eventually. So for you guys who are doing high intensity, we recommend that you stick some carbohydrate back into your diet pre and post workout. So give it a shot and see what you think. Let us know what you think of this. Thanks. Bye-bye.